I normally would be at work today, but I'm stuck at home because it snowed. Yeah, the Gulf Coast got a lot of snow. I'm sure y'all have all heard about it, but the roads are icy. None of us know how to drive in this crap because we never get this much snow ever. I wanted to talk about something that I feel like there's a lot of misconception on, and that's the wide AM and close AM scents. There's a lot of misunderstanding about why they exist and why certain dates matter and others do not. So I want to clarify that today so people will better understand what you're looking for on the wide AM and close AM scent varieties and how you can actually spot them and actually get some money out of those coins. First, I want to clarify something for people who are new to varieties because there's a lot of misconception about all sorts of things that can happen on a coin. There's not a gap that's wider and smaller on those letters because of some crazy thing that happened when it was being struck. You won't have one single coin that has a different design to it. It's something that happens when they're making the die. And in this case, it wasn't a mistake. In this case, it was just some flip-flopping of dies that were used, and we'll get into that in just a moment. But just because there's a close and wide AM on the cents, if you're looking at circulated coins or you're looking for minor differences between coins and random letters, that's not really a thing. If you find another coin where it looks like the L is touching the rim, the G looks a little bit weird or something like that, you won't find major design differences, misspellings, that kind of stuff, like the in COD we trust quarters, that kind of thing. That's not something that actually happens in the minting process. Those are things that are kind of folklore varieties that kind of pop up from people who really don't understand what's happening in the minting process and what can actually happen to a coin to make it a significant die variety. With that being said, the close AM and wide AM cents are not a mistake made by the mint when they designed the dies or made the design for it. The close AM and wide AM cents are a different usage of dies that were either not intended for the coins they went on to or were testing out a particular design. So the four dates you're really looking for on close AM and wide AM cents are going to be 1992, 1998, 1999, and 2000. Those are the four where we can find those varieties taking place. The scarcest of these are going to be the 1992 and the 1992 Denver close AM cents. In this situation, the mint had a particular design where there was a wider AM they had used prior to 1992 and decided in 1992 after that run, they were going to change the die for 1993. It's an entire redesign of the structure of the lettering on the reverse, but it's just most noticeable with the gap in the AM. So that's where you really see it the most, and that's why it's referred to as the wide AM, and that's why you can notice it on those portions of the lettering more so than the rest of the lettering. But it seems in 1992, the mint either mixed up one of the new reverse dies with a close AM on it, or they might have been wanting to test out the new reverse and see how it functioned. So we get that reverse of 1993, or the close AM, on the 1992 cents, which were supposed to have the wider AM on it. So in this situation, we don't have something crazy happening like a design that just happened to pop up out of nowhere. It's really logical. We have a new reverse design that's coming out, and that die gets used in 1992 on a few of the cents in a short production run, it seems, making it a very scarce die variety for that year for 1992 at both Philadelphia and Denver. Also, you'll notice that the placement of the FG designer's initials by the Lincoln Memorial is significantly different for the wide AM and close AM varieties. So the placement of this is a good way to confirm what you're looking at, but the reason why we have some varieties of wide AM reverses on circulation coins and close AM reverses on a few of the proof coins is actually a little bit different. You see, we went to the close AM design in 1993, as I said, and that close AM reverse was used on all three strikes made that year, the Circulation Philadelphia and Denver and the San Francisco Proof. However, after using the close AM reverse on the proof coins, for some reason the mint decided in 1994 and on, they would go back to the wide AM reverse for the proof cents. So you would have close AM reverses on circulation strikes and wide AM reverses on proof strikes. Now, when dies are made, they're prepared in different ways for circulation and proof strikes. Circulation dies are made for longevity and for normal purposes, and they have just kind of a normal circulation matte look to them. However, proof dies are sandblasted so that the deeper portions of the die, which end up being raised on the coin, have a cameo look to them, and then the surfaces that are going to be high up on the die but recessed the fields on the rest of the coin are then polished to a mirror finish. So the special treatment of those dies is what makes it a proof die, and it will be used only on proof coins. And if one of those dies was to be used on a business strike coin, you would clearly tell it's the wrong die because it would be really, really shiny with some cameo, and that just wouldn't look right. However, the wide AM was only a proof die, and the close AM was only a business strike die. So why do we not notice a proof likeness to those coins? That's because although the dies were hubbed as wide AM proof style reverses, they were not made into proof dies by polishing and sandblasting those dies. So pretty much we get a wide AM proof design that ends up as a business strike die, and they end up striking business strike coins. Now when we're looking for those varieties, we're ultimately just doing the opposite of what we're looking for in 1992, but it gets a little bit more complicated. The problem is if we just look at the gap between the A and the M, we can still kind of be deceived because business strike coins are used for a long production life, and over time, mint employees will polish the dies. And what happens when you polish a die? It's literally taking off layers of metal and slowly wearing down the die. Now on the wide AM, this wouldn't matter because it's just going to make the gap wider. But on the close AM reverses, it can make the die appear to be a wide AM if they polish it down enough and take off enough metal. It won't ever get to the exact specifications of the gap for the wide AM, but it still will make enough of a gap that it's not touching, and so if you're just looking for the A and the M to touch, you're not going to always catch this variety properly. You'll find some coins that look like they have a gap, but they're not actually the die you're looking for, and it's not the variety. It's not a matter of whether there's a gap between the A and the M. The question is whether the die that was intended for a proof style reverse is actually the one that struck the coin you're looking at. So what you need to do is not only verify that the gap is there between the A and the M, but make sure that the other design elements match, namely that designer initial placement of the FG to the right of the Lincoln Memorial. Does it match? Because if it doesn't match the placement for the wide AM die, guess what? It's a close AM that's been polished down enough to where you see a gap between the A and the M. And one of those design elements is to stop looking just at the A and the M, and then also look at the gap between the M and the E. The gap should be about the same on the wide AM between all three of those letters, but as you'll notice on the close AM, it's almost non-existent. They practically touch. And on the one where it's kind of deceptive, there's a much smaller gap there than there is between the M and the E. And if you think this doesn't trip people up, it really does. I've had numerous people bring in things they think are wide AM cents, and guess what? It's been one that's polished down just enough to where it's deceptive and trips people up. So make sure you're not only looking for the gap, but checking the placement of the FG. But while we're talking about the FG, it's not just the placement, it's actually the design itself. You'll notice that the shape of the G is very distinctively different between the close AM and wide AM designs. That G serif changes a lot, the shape of the F even changes, and the spacing between those two letters changes as well. It looks very minor, but it is significantly different. So study those differences and make sure you understand what the two of them are supposed to look like, and if you get proficient enough at looking for these coins and spotting the differences between just this, it really doesn't even matter about the gap between the A and the M. You could literally tell these two dies apart just by looking at the FG if you really know what you're looking for. But then we get into the last two of this particular type of variety, the proofs that have a close AM reverse on them, and that's going to be in 1998 and 1999. And that's pretty much the opposite of the wide AMs we see on the business strikes. Basically, it was a business strike die that was prepared as a proof that had that close AM on it that was supposed to be just on the business strikes. And guess what? It got used as a proof as well. So it was prepared to be a proof die after being made as a business strike design and got put on the proof since. So basically, once again, you're looking for that close AM on the proof reverse die. And again, just like the other ones, the diagnostics are the same. We're literally looking just for a switch up between the wide AM and close AM reverses. And you're going to once again look for the placement and shape of the FG, as well as the spacing in the A and the M. So let's run through real quick just a recap of what you're looking for. On 1992, you're only looking for business strike Philadelphia and Denver cents that have a close AM reverse. That is the reverse of 1993 that was used early. And in 1998, 1999, and 2000, you were looking for wide AM reverses on the business strike Philadelphia minted coins. And on the proof 1998 and 1999 cents, you're looking for the close AM reverse, which was intended to be on the business strikes only. So there's a good number of different varieties to be had here, and if you keep an eye out, they do show up. Let's look at the rarity of some of these really quick before we wrap it up. The 1992 close AM cent is going to be the rarest of all of these. It is exceptionally rare. A close second is going to be that 1992 Denver, exceptionally rare as well, but still a few more out there than there are the 92. Now when you get to the 98, 99, and 2000 WAMs and CAMs, it gets a little bit more confusing because they do kind of go back and forth between being scarce or not. Let's go through the business strikes first. The 98 is tougher, but it's not rare. It's accessible to find a 98 wide AM cent. The 99 wide AM is the one that is rare. It's nowhere close to the 92 close AMs, but it is a rare coin. I've yet to find one myself, but I've found plenty of 98s and 2000s. And that's because the 2000, it's not hard to find, but it's not easy to find either. You do have to go through a good number of 2000s to find a wide AM, but they do show up a lot more frequently than any of the other ones of these varieties. Now for the proof 1998 and 1999s, those are going to be close AMs, remember. The 98 is the tough one for the proof. The 98 close AM proof is a difficult coin to find. The 1999 close AM proof is a little bit easier, but it is still a rare coin. Now the proofs are found in proof sets. So remember, if you ever are going to find that 98 or 99S proof close AM cent, it's probably going to be in a proof set, maybe in a roll of proofs, but who buys rolls of proofs? Maybe in a dealer inventory, that kind of thing, but it's going to be from a proof set originally. So check those proof sets. You might actually find one. And since I'm down to my webcam on my laptop because my other camera decided it's not going to work with my home computer, I'm going to wrap it up. I hope this helped you out, and if it did, I would greatly appreciate a like. And if you want more videos like this where I talk about different areas of coin collecting, be sure to hit the subscribe and notifications buttons below so you'll be notified when I have new content coming out. Thanks for watching the video and have a great day.